Hey folks, welcome to another edition of PlayBranson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name is Chris Meyer. I'm going to be your host for the day. And today I have to just do a shout out to my dad. It's his birthday, so happy birthday, Dad. It's good to have you still around. Here's the deal. We have a great show today. Our guest, never been on the show before, Scott Presley. And the Presley family has an incredible history here in Branson. And when you talk about Branson and its history, you just can't talk about Branson without talking about the Presley family. And you know, this is a family that, in Branson in general, is a family that's been built on faith, family, and country. And they just represent all of those things extremely well. And so I'm thankful to have Scott Presley on the show today. Couple things, if you're in town or you're thinking about coming to Branson, got a couple things to think about here. You're going to want to eat. And so I've got this great publication out there called The Flavor of Branson. You'll want to check this out. It lists every restaurant in town. And in the back of the book, it's got about 30 coupons. You can find this at over 100 plus locations. So look in your hotel lobby or ask the hotel front desk folks if they've got this handy. I've got another publication here. This just came out recently called The Taste of Branson. And this is kind of menus. You'll find this typically in your hotel room. No coupons in it, but great opportunity to see lots of different restaurants. Hook and Ladder is featured on the cover of this. And I tell you what, I could be eating some of that pizza right now. It looks yummy, and it's a great place down in Hollister. And then I always love to promote our magazine that we have. It's called PlayBranson, of course. And featuring the Duttons on it this year. This is a great magazine. We'll give you a great overview of the whole destination, from shows to attractions to museums to free things you can do in the area, outdoor activities, the whole bit. It's all in the PlayBranson magazine. Be sure to pick that up around Branson. I've got a few dumb questions or things that make you go, Why does it take 15 minutes to cook minute rice? That's interesting. If space is a vacuum, who changes the bags? And then, why do we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" or ballpark when we're already there? That's an interesting question. So those are our dumb questions or things that make you go, I still do like the one from last couple episodes ago when we talked about, did Noah have a woodpecker on the boat? That was my favorite one, probably, of these recent ones. So we'll be back in just a moment with Scott Presley. Hey folks, welcome back to PlayBranson, and today we have a special guest. We have Scott Presley. Hello. Scott, it's good to have you here.
Good to be here. Good to be here. I need to talk into this.
There we go. Yeah. Sometimes entertainers forget about that.
For a long time, you think I would have known that?
Yeah. So you just grew up in Branson, right?
Yes.
And so you're one of the few entertainers that, quite honestly, probably spent your whole life growing up in Branson.
Yeah. Anymore, there's very few of us around that have been here that long.
Yeah. And so you're a third, am I going to get this right? Third generation?
Correct, yes.
On stage. And so talk a little bit about the history of the Presleys.
Well, my family built the first theater in Branson. Everybody knows the story. In 1967, there was just a two-lane road. You know what it was like back in those days. And they built there because it was in between downtown Branson and Silver Dollar City and the lakes. So they were thinking, you know, we could catch a few tourists as they headed out to the lakes or Silver Dollar City or Shepherd of the Hills.
So it was out in the boonies kind of back to that time.
Yeah, there was, my dad says, of course I don't remember this time period, but there was only 7 businesses between where we are right now and downtown Branson.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow, that's crazy. And so started in 1967. And when did you join the show?
I showed up in 71.
Oh wow!
And then I started coming out on stage pretty much as soon as I could walk. And when I was probably three or 4 years old, they started dressing me up like my dad, Herkimer, in the overalls, and I would come out and do a little something, sing a little song, and be a cute kid.
There you go. And so you kind of did some comedy then.
A little bit. We would, my brothers, as they came along, we would dress up like Dad. We were the three little Herkimers, and we never did comedy per se, but we would always come out and sing a little novelty song or something with Dad.
Okay. And you obviously today you play the guitar and you sing, and so kind of take us through that transition.
Oh my goodness! Well, when you're a little kid on stage, all you have to do is just be a little kid, and people like it. Then you start hitting that age 12, 13 to where you're not as cute as you used to be. And it was about that time period. I actually started playing fiddle at about 9 or 10 years old, and then that's when I started transitioning into more of a musician type role rather than just doing the comedy thing.
Okay. And so were you going out on stage every night?
Oh yeah, every night.
So I mean, it's like in your blood.
It's all I've ever known.
Yeah. And so you gravitated from the fiddle to the guitar at some point.
Yeah. I wished I would have stuck with the fiddle because there's a lot less fiddle players in the world than there are guitar players.
Interesting. That is interesting.
No, there's a lot of great musicians of all types around here. But no, I wished I'd stuck with it, but I didn't have the desire for it like I did for the guitar. My little brother Greg was taking guitar lessons, and he wasn't really feeling that either, so I started getting all his papers from his guitar teacher and learning the stuff that he was supposed to be learning, and that was it. I fell in love with it.
Now, I have to tell you a story, and it was crazy. So the other day, my washer overflowed in my house.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, and it flowed down into my basement, okay, where I have all this storage stuff. And so I had all these boxes that were wet, and so I'm taking them up to the garage because I'm going to take everything out of the box, right? And I open this one box, and all of a sudden, I find all my guitar music from 20 years ago. I lost it. Like, really? I couldn't find it, and so I had all of my old material from my teacher. And it was the biggest blessing in the midst of adversity that I had.
I'll be honest, I didn't even know you played.
Well, I haven't in a long time. That's just it.
What kind of stuff was he teaching you?
So I had had books like I had the Def Leppard Hysteria book. I had Stripers, To Hell with the Devil, and all this. Winger, all this, what you call 80s.
Oh, yeah.
80s, 90s heavy metal.
That's what did it for me. The first time I heard Eddie Van Halen play Eruption, that was it. That's all I wanted to do was learn how to play guitar.
Now, I think they should let you do that in the show.
Yeah, you know what? I picked up the guitar thinking that's the one song I want to learn. If I could just learn that song, learn that solo, I'll be happy. And I've never learned the whole thing.
Oh, that's an amazing. If you haven't watched it on YouTube, go watch Eddie Van Halen. On that, it's an amazing thing. But so I have it now. I put all the music in a box that was not wet, and so now I'm like, okay, I just need to start going through it and relearn.
There you go.
So that's my guitar story, and but I haven't played in years. So besides playing guitar in the show, you've taken on some other roles as well.
Yeah, I'm actually pastoring now. I've been doing that for a number of years. I was called into the ministry on some short-term missions work, and I never thought in a million years I would be doing that because I like hiding behind a guitar. It's a safe place, but to get out in front of people and to speak was something I never thought I would do. But I'm telling you, God enables you when He calls you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so the name of the church is the Freedom Fellowship Church.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you just, not that long ago, started actually meeting at the Presleys Theater.
In November of 2018, I believe it was. We meet there every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Our services aren't that long, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
And we get a lot of visitors.
A lot of
visitors from all over the country. And I love that because I'm all about unity in the body. And, this last Sunday, I had called out different denominations and just, call it the Baptists, the Assemblies of God, Methodists, Catholics. We had hands going up all over the place. And I just love to be able to concentrate on those things that we have in common and just spread the gospel. Because
that is awesome.
When you look at it, we do all have the gospel in common. There might be little changes or different beliefs here and there, but most of those have nothing to do with your eternity.
Right. Well, and I always say, is the main thing the main thing?
Exactly.
Because it's like, and like you get into some of the theological differences, which a lot of times people don't even talk about very much anymore. So they can see you in the evening at the show, or they can come on Sunday and see you preach.
Yeah, or they can watch us on Sunday morning on Facebook. We do live on on Facebook and YouTube as well.
Yeah. Now you have, is it 4 kids?
4 kids,
Now,
yes.
are any of them in the show?
My youngest son Zach, he plays drums and plays rhythm guitar some, and my daughter Lauren, she's worked up front and behind the scenes. She works out at Silver Dollar City right now. Brianna, my daughter, she helps out with Spotlight and some video stuff occasionally. And then my son Brett, he's one of the guys that kind of heads up the video department.
Wow!
And is an incredible bass player, but doesn't want to play on stage.
Yeah. So it's like a whole family environment, but it's not all family are always on stage.
Correct. Yeah.
You know.
It's definitely a family operation, 100%. Because we also have my wife Melinda and my sister-in-law Kelly. They work up front, and I always say they have the hard jobs.
Yeah.
They handle all the up front end.
So you've been doing this for literally decades. Is there working with family can be tough, but is there like a secret that the Presleys have on how they work together?
You know, you're right. It can be a challenge. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
You've been in a family business
That's
for a long time as well. And to think that you're always going to get along and agree on everything, it's not going to happen. But the thing is, you have to get past those times and those disagreements. My grandpa Lloyd used to tell us, he said, you know, you guys got a good thing going here. Don't mess it up.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've just always kept focused on the fact that we are family. We love one another. We're going to have differences, but we got to keep focused on keeping things together. And by the grace of God, we've been able to do it.
Boy, that's some good words right there. I love it. Folks, we'll be back in just a second with more from Scott Presley.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Folks, welcome back. We're here with Scott Presley here on PlayBranson. And Scott, you actually you're part of your own TV show on RFD TV Theater.
Yeah, we have a show on the RFD network. We've been doing that, I think it's 11 years, 10 or 11, whatever. It's been a long time.
It's a long time. And you guys have, as a result of that, you've gained a following from people all over the country.
It's been amazing how many people from different areas are coming to Branson because they've watched the TV show. We're getting people from demographics that you really weren't. I mean, you think of Branson, you think of more of the Midwest, you know, Minnesota, that in Texas, those areas, people coming here. But we're getting people from the East Coast. We're getting people from Washington State, California, that have been watching us on TV all this time, and they say, you know, this is why we came to Branson. And we view the TV show as a advertisement for the whole town.
Yeah.
You know, we just want to see people come.
You can never have too much publicity for Branson. You know,
and I think viewership-wise, on Saturday night we're pushing 400,000, something like that. So we're hitting a lot of households.
Now, do you do anything like in the show as it relates to helping produce it, or what role do you play?
Oh yeah, so that gets back to the family business thing. You know, I have a lot to do with the post-production, a lot to do with, as far as the music stuff is concerned, getting things prepared and ready, songs distributed to everybody so they could learn them. And I tell you, we've learned a lot of songs over the past 11 years.
You have to.
Yeah, I would guarantee you we've probably hit that 500-600 songs we've worked up. You see, I didn't grow up playing in a bar like most musicians did, and that's one of those things that really hones your skill, because those guys are getting new stuff thrown at them all the time.
Yeah.
When you play a show in Branson, you're pretty much set the first of the year and you're on autopilot. But this is the bar gig I never had.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at that. Tell people about this show this year. And the other thing I want you to say is kind of talk about the transition with coronavirus and everything, and how that worked.
Been absolutely crazy. You know, it's like we had 2 off seasons. We had our winter off. We did a cruise. We do that every year, which we're not doing it this year, it looks like, obviously. But we came in February, just got back from the cruise, just flew in right under the radar before all this hit. Put the new show together. We did 3 nights and then had to shut it down.
Oh my gosh.
And then 3 months later, here we are starting back up. It's like, I'm good to have 1 opening a year.
Yeah.
It's stressful. We don't need 2 of them.
Yeah. What did you do that whole time while you were in quarantine or off, or the show was off?
Spent a lot of time around the family, tried to get odds and ends done around the house that I have not had time to do for the past 10 years since we started the RFD thing. So just trying to think if there was anything else exciting that we did. That's about it.
So now the show is up and going, and I think I read somewhere, like, was it the first night, like the crowd just gave you a standing ovation?
Oh my goodness,
just because they were so glad you were open.
Amazing. Yeah, that curtain, I can get emotional occasionally, and when that curtain came up and those people started yelling and hollering and they were standing up, it brought a tear to my eye.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was almost like a reunion. It was almost like a family reunion. These people that we hadn't seen and they hadn't seen us in a long time, and we're back at it.
Yeah. So if someone's never seen the Presleys, what are they going to get?
They're going to get a little bit of everything. I mean, we're a variety show. We do all different styles of music. Of course, we lean towards the country for the most part, but you're going to see bluegrass. You're going to see gospel music in there, and a lot of comedy.
A lot of comedy.
And it's fast paced. So
your dad is Herkimer.
Yes.
Right? And he's been doing that how many years?
Oh
now?
my goodness, he was 13 when he started. So he's
over
he was
50 years,
born in
right?
47, so well over 50 years. So he was actually doing the character before we opened the theater.
Yeah,
up in
so,
Fantastic Caverns.
Think about that. Like he's a master at it. Like
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And really, he became, even in the 90s, he became very iconic with his flashy overalls.
Oh yeah, and he still wears those every night.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that is an attention getter right there.
So family-friendly show, the whole family can enjoy, big variety, and it's if you think about it, like Branson shows, you are what I'd call the classic Branson show that really people can't get anywhere else.
No, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find exactly what we do, anywhere else. There's a couple other places in the country that do have some shows, but we do what we do, and we just have stuck with it. And I think that's one of the secrets of the success of the show.
Any idea how many family members are in the show?
I believe, I just guessed that you were going to ask that question. I never remember. And when we're at the theater, I would always grab a picture and count them on there to make sure. But I think we're at 8
family
right
members.
now. Yes.
Okay. And so you do have some folks that are in the band, in the show, that are not a part of the family.
Correct, yeah.
And so you guys have done
we're
that.
smart enough to know to surround ourselves with people that are more talented than we are.
Yeah, I like that.
And we've got a good crew. Great.
And you have a guy that sings, that during the day he does construction.
Yeah, Jay Wickheiser.
Yes. And I always find some of that kind of interesting because people sometimes take on dual roles in the community.
Oh, yeah.
That sometimes
a lot of our people have different jobs they do during the day.
Yeah. So you guys are Monday through Saturday.
Correct.
At 8 o'clock.
That's it.
And you have a pre-show.
Yeah. We have not started it back up yet, and hopefully we will be able to soon. We do a gospel sing-along pre-show up in the mezzanine, which is a fairly tight area, so we have not felt comfortable opening that back up yet. But people absolutely love it because they hear the old gospel songs that they grew up with, and the people you hear them singing along.
So that would be a change because of coronavirus.
Exactly. Yes.
Now here's another question: is you guys have always been known for years where people can come down and get the autographs. Yes. Are you still doing that, or did you stop doing that?
We're not doing that at this time either, and I hate that because to me a big part of the experience for us and the audience is to be able to connect one-on-one with people. And we've had so many people that have been coming for years and years and years that, their grandparents brought them. Now they're bringing their children. And, we feel like we've got a big extended family that we can't connect with.
Yeah. So sometimes there are changes, but the main thing is that the show is going, it's alive, and that people can come experience the show. And, I think people need good things to happen in their lives. I mean, if you watch the news, it's just terrible. And you know what was funny is I was watching a show from 3 years ago, and I was saying the same thing like 3 years ago. I'm like, the news is terrible. Like, it's just worse now.
Yeah, it's not getting any better.
It's not getting any better.
I'm a bit of a news junkie, and I'm backing off a little bit.
And so like, you can come to the Presleys, you're going to laugh, you're going to have fun, you're going to feel good, and heck, you can get some popcorn and soda too.
There you go.
You know,
That's right.
And so, what's the Presleys website?
Presleys.com.
Okay, folks, you can go to Presleys.com, or you can go to iBranson.com and get your tickets at either place. Check them out on RFD TV Theater as well. And those are on Saturday nights at
6 o'clock, yes.
6 o'clock. And so lots of different ways to experience the Presleys. Scott, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Another thing I almost forgot the plug, but if you're in town on Sunday, go check out Freedom Fellowship Church. Right. And what time is that?
10 a.m. at Presleys Theater.
10 a.m. at Presleys Theater, because just because you're on vacation doesn't mean you need to take a vacation from God.
And a lot of people think because it's in a theater, there might be an admission, but there's no admission. It just come as you are. We get lots of, like I said, lots of tourists, so come wearing your bathing suit if you need to.
There we go, folks. You heard it here. Wear your bathing suit. And then you can go to Whitewater.
There you go.
Anyway, we'll be back in just a moment with more. Okay, folks, we're wrapping the show up today. We want to thank Scott for coming out and really appreciate him being here. You know, one of the things that Branson has to offer is they have a lot of family fun dining destinations. And so in some cases, you can get a show with a meal. You can go to some unique themed restaurants. And so as you're thinking about the dining experiences around here, you can go to like Dolly Stampede, you can go to the Showboat Branson Bell, Spaghetti's, and I always say that probably wrong, but they've got a Ferris wheel inside the restaurant there. So there's just a lot of unique dining opportunities. Now next week on our show, we have Todd Oliver, and he has a great dinner show out at Shepherd of the Hills, and I'm looking forward to talking to him about that. And so you'll want to be sure to go check that out. And they've got a lot of different types of shows out there with meals, doing a great job out there. Here's the deal. If you need help planning your entire Branson vacation, you can go to iBranson.com, or you can call those folks at 877-ENTERTAIN, and they can help plan your whole vacation. And so if you haven't been to Branson, you got to come. Thanks for watching Play Branson, and we'll see you next week.